So mentoring has been massively helpful. I would say that because I'm a sole founder as well, there isn't very many people you can talk to, especially when you're building up your team, about things that might have gone wrong or potential fears or. So one of the things I did a couple of years into having the business was I met Bill Liao, who's the co-founder of Zing.com. He was talking at an event and he had some really kind of interesting takes on running a business. And around about the same time, I'd been thinking about, I'd love to have somebody that could mentor me and help me not write a business plan, not do the financials. I think that's all stuff you can learn from reading books and learn along the way as well. There's so much stuff online that you can learn from too. The stuff that I didn't know, I wasn't quite sure about, were handling situations. So like what I mentioned before, it's just the way that you deal with things, and I think a lot of that comes from the type of person that you are. And Bill just seems like the type of person who would be an amazing mentor. So he's been mentoring me, and what he would do would be help me do things like look at your personal fears. So these weren't fears about the business, it was more about you as a person. And he would help kind of talk through them, and actually when you realise them, it helps you deal with situations better. So I think in terms of mentoring, if you can get somebody that's going to help you on the personal level, that will help you get through a lot of things better, rather than the practical things of writing a business plan. And I think as you move on as well, because we have a few more mentors now, you'll find mentors who you just get this kind of gut instinct for the type of thing that you need. So like, because we're in the game space, I want good mentors in the game space that can help with things like business models and connections and kind of shaping up where the business is going to go. So that's been really helpful, and on the charity side as well. But I think definitely if you start off with someone on the personal side, because that's basically the foundations of you growing as a person and for the business. So I think awards, whether you win them or be shortlisted and press, are massively helpful for you as a person and for the business. So when you get shortlisted for an award or you win one, it obviously brings a lot of press and attraction to the business, but also it's the credibility, because obviously you've had to go through a process of filling out the application, of being put in front of a judging panel, and then being in a category with some of the best, potentially that year in that section. So it gives that extra layer of credibility, puts you in the spotlight. I think that's really helpful. I think the really interesting thing about doing an awards, applying for an awards, and I've heard a few entrepreneurs say this as well, is it helps you focus back on the business, where it's going. And it's really nice to have an opportunity to be able to fill out an application form and get all your thinking into like one space. With so much going on in the business, you need to take that time to kind of think about the business, take a step back and think about the business as a whole and where you're going. So award applications are really helpful for that. So even if you just fill out an application, there's a big help there. But yeah, winning it, and because we won an award a few weeks ago, the Social Investment of the Year category at the BBAA Awards, and for us, I mean, that's been great because investors have been getting in touch to say, we'd love to talk to you. So for raising money, that's been massively helpful. For press, I think the press just kind of shows that you're in it, you're there. It raises awareness of your profile, and also for our potential clients, i.e. game developers and publishers, and for charities who are going to use our service. I think the more that you can get out there, the more people start to recognise the brand and recognise that you're here to stay. So funding, we've been through a few rounds of funding. So a couple of years ago we did Springboard, which is like a tech accelerator. So it's kind of like Y Combinator or Techstars. It's a 3-month program that's set up to allow startups to test an idea and to either fail or succeed quickly. But it was interesting, around about the same time we also brought in angel investors at the same time. So we'd been looking to raise money and thought, because it was an idea which had come from an evolution of a few different game concepts and ideas that we'd had before, we managed to get some interest of angels, but we also got the interest of Springboard as well. So we did that at the same time, taking angel investment and running through the Springboard program, which helped us do about a 12 to 18 months worth of work in about 3 months. So by the end of Springboard, we were then able to pitch to VCs and angels again, and raise more money. So we raised a seed round 6 months after that. But the types of investors that we've brought on board have all been either from the game space, from tech, from finance, so they've seen there's a clear return on investment for them. And we've attracted quite a few social investment angels. So angels who understand they'll make a return, but it might take a bit longer because we're making a social impact at the same time. And we've got a VC like Nesta, for example, involved. So Nesta invest in companies who will make a return but make a social impact too. So when we're measuring our success, we don't just measure the bottom line, how much money we're making, but we measure the impact that we're making at the same time, which is really important to all the different angels and VCs that we have on board. I think the big bit of advice that I would say to any entrepreneur would be just do it. If you have an idea, just start it, and don't fall down at the first hurdle, because if that's going to happen, like we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of hurdles. So, if you fall down at the first one, there's a clear sign that it might not be for them. But yeah, it's just to take the idea and start running with it, because you never know what's going to succeed or fail if you don't try. And to keep going for it, but then to understand when if something isn't working as well. But definitely find a mentor as well. So when we were talking about mentors, I mentioned looking for a mentor that can mentor you, not just on the practical things, but on the personal side of things too, to make sure you're prepared for the things that are going to get thrown at you. So yeah, that would be my top 3 things. So just do it. Don't be put off by the first hurdles, and get a good mentor to help you on the personal side.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.